Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by, they've set in stone. But it's not too late now for you to change your tone. Don't speak. Don't speak. Open your soul. Don't harden your heart. Don't speak. Don't speak. Open your soul. Don't harden your heart. Don't bask in a light that's not yours. We're not fighting a fictitious war. Don't boast about all the things that you've done, because in your head.
Hey guys, happy Friday. It is December 12th. It is just after 6, and this is our Friday night update. So I don't really have too much to update you guys on. There's really not too much going on. I can tell you that we met with a few more city council people this week. We had a meeting with council member Julie Menon today, and Crystal Hudson the other day. And so we're just doing what we have to do. Health plan questions, if you guys have that, that's probably going to be the focus today because I don't really see too much more to update you on. Hey, everybody. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Greetings from Florida. Hopefully it's warmer there. It is freezing here. Hi from Manhattan. Hello, Laura. I was in calls all day today, and I really didn't have too much time. But tomorrow, I'm driving my bus in the Christmas parade, and I need to decorate it like with a lot of lights tonight and tomorrow. So tomorrow will probably be when I'll end up doing most of it because I didn't have time to do it today. So let's see if there's anybody on Instagram. No Instagram questions. Hello, Instagram people. No questions there. Okay. And let's see what we have. Hello, Long Beach. Good to see you. You look youthful and energized. Very, very funny. Yeah, I feel like Mary Tyler Moore. Thank you, Janice. Hello, Nancy. Good to see you too. Hello, David from Sheepshead Bay. So I don't really have too much for you guys. Thanks for kind of playing around with us doing the happy birthday speaker the other day and making the calls to her office. And so it is official. Both Mayor Adams and Speaker Adams are both 65 years old. Mayor Adams turned 65 September 1st, I think it was, and the Speaker December 9th. So, yep, absolutely. So now they are both Medicare eligible. So when you see them the next time on the street or wherever, especially if they're not taking a job next year after January, hopefully when they're on Medicare, you could say to them, you're welcome, because they will have their benefits because you fought for them, not because they did. Can you give me a quick shout out? My name is Nick Jur. Nick Jur. Hello, Nick. Ship has doubled. Okay, guys. So this is something I'm going to be digging into with you guys probably Sunday, Monday. We need to start looking at all of that. We need to look and see exactly what the ship does provide you. And I'm also going to do a spreadsheet where we're going to look at all of the costs that have increased on you today, in addition to the copays that the unions put on you, in addition to your ship going up, in addition to the premium for Medicare going up. So we want you to have all of that information handy. And when we're also going to educate the legislators about that as well. So don't stress out about that. We can always have like a Zoom call and do a powwow about whether or not it's worth you keeping your ship, what you get back. So you have to do a cost analysis to it as to how much you pay in premium, and then what potential you would have to reimburse it, to get reimbursements, and if it's worth you keeping, because it might not be worth you keeping. That we always talk about, I think like the teachers' retirees are always the ones that are over-insured for some reason. And I know it's always one of those, well, we're kind of nervous, maybe we'll need it, maybe we won't need it, but it's also, it needs to be evaluated as this is potentially, is it over insurance? Is it worth the risk, or just take what you would have spent on those premiums and put that in a special account to pay for those things that you wouldn't have to? So the cost of the premium going up, when I saw that email that the premium on that went up 100%, and it wasn't because of anything from what they're saying in the emails that I saw, was because there's a deficit now. They're trying to increase their reserves. But why did this spring upon them just at this recent meeting? Where was this conversation over the last year as to whatever potential that there might be? That hasn't come out clear, so I really can't comment on that. But if anyone has any minutes, meetings, information, yes, it did just double. Absolutely. Did Adrian get her new cards yet? If you guys sent them, but if you're talking about our healthcare cards, I have no idea. Maybe they should call Prime Therapeutics and get costs for us. So Ellen, I know you guys got frustrated when I asked you to do this. And there was a reason why, obviously, was because we're trying to show where some of the weaknesses are. And when I ask you to that call, and thank you guys for doing that, like instantaneously, because we were able to get information about what you were not getting. Office of Labor Relations, we're probably going to need to call the mayor's office next week. We need to think about what our strategy will be next week. It's just, at this point, they're not listening. We've called Office of Labor Relations about the CWA 1180 plan. The CWA 1180 plan, the rule that the city has is you cannot purchase a drug plan from the city if you have a union drug plan. Well, CWA offers a drug plan, but then many of you have been messaging me with an email telling me that you're getting a letter, an email from the union, Local 1180, saying, no, you're on the city plan, you can't come back to our plan. So if you are CWA 1180, I want to make sure, I'm going to probably do a survey and put that out. I want to know why is it that you're allowed to stay on the city plan when your union is now offering a creditable Part D? And thank you to all of you, both in CWA 1180 and Local 237, for raising this issue with us, because we raised this with OLR last year, that their plan wasn't creditable, even though they were saying it was. They lied through their teeth. And so by you exposing that, sharing that with us, and us contacting OLR and telling them that they're selling this plan as that their union drug plan as a creditable Part D when it was not, that they both unions this year ended up actually purchasing, putting in place a plan, a true Medicare Part D creditable drug plan, CWA 1180 with WellCare, and 237 with Aetna SilverScript. So that was huge. But for this going forward, we want to know why you're being forced to stay on the city plan if the CWA actually has a plan you can go into. So if you guys haven't asked your union that question, CWA retirees, please go ahead and ask them. That's really important. Any updates from Chris Marte? Nope, I have no updates for you. There's really nothing to update at this point. Our bill is probably not going to go anywhere. There's only one more stated, and the city council chose not to do anything with that, of course, because the speaker was an obstructionist. She chose not just to do this to us, but to many, many groups who have bills that would help them. For example, like the para bill that had 47 sponsors on it. But that is a whole nother story, that bill. And I'll get into that in another day, but I don't think there was ever an intent to pass our bill or the para bill based upon the way that they handled the para bill, especially. Our bill was strictly because of the speaker. Adrienne Adams was not doing any favors to protect retirees or protect Medicare for Medicare eligible retirees because of the deals that she made with District Council 37. So I saw that she was at their holiday party the other day. She has never given us any time whatsoever. The only meeting that we had with her was while Councilman Barron was still around. And that meeting, she never even looked us in the eye during that entire meeting. And when Councilman Barron said to her, did you learn anything from this meeting? Because we had our counsel on that call with her as well. And remember, she never looked at us once. On this call was myself, Councilman Barron, Jake Gardner. And at the end, when Councilman Barron said, so Speaker, did you learn anything new about this? I mean, you heard a lot of things today about the retirees and Medicare Advantage. And she said, no, just like that. No. And that was it. She hung up. We haven't spoken to her since. She doesn't want to communicate with us. And clearly she never wanted to speak with any of you because she never invited us to her office. Even after I sat in her office in Rochdale Village for 2 hours, she still refused to come out. She wouldn't even come out. So what can I tell you? Hello, guys from TWU. How are you doing? What is SHIP going up to? I think it's $10 a month. It's going to $20 a month, Long Beach. $20 a month per person. I just want to let you know that SHIP through UFT gives a $105 reimbursement for copays. The ridiculous paperwork needed for each $15 reimbursement is ridiculous, and a senior can't get it together without. And I'll tell you, we have heard what you have to do to go jump the hoops that you have to jump through to get that $105. And many people have said the same thing. It's not worth going through the trouble of that $105. So that's maybe we could do a Zoom call like next week or something on that. I just need more time to dig into it and see if it's something that maybe even we can provide. If we truly continue this organization as an organization that would run like a union, that there's an annual dues or however we could do it, to see if there is a plan that we could actually provide for all of you, knowing that this retiree group would always have your back and not sell you out, unlike your former union did. But give us some time to look at that. This has come up several times where we've talked about it. We just haven't done it. And this clearly is pushing many of you to actually do that. So, where you're going from $10 a month to $20 a month. And if you're a couple, it's $40 a month plus all the copays that your same union decided to put upon you and all of us to raise cash for their collective bargaining, which was very frustrating. So this is also one of the biggest misnomers that we keep running into at city council members. City council is constantly being told, including some state elected, by the UFT and DC 37, that unions negotiate for retirees. And I said, no, they negotiate for current union members and their future retirees. So they have to be a current union member. And they're like, but those UFT people vote. And I said, no, they vote. They have a partial vote. They don't even count as a full vote. Of like the 89,000 retirees that they have, only like 23,000 votes of a retiree chapter. Retiree chapter count towards an officer election. No retiree in the city of New York votes on a union contract. None. It doesn't happen. So it's concerning to keep still hearing that. And so we're just going to keep pressuring them to listen, that we are not in their unions. And we educated them to the law. We showed them the Taylor law. We showed them the New York City collective bargaining law, that the law only allows a union to collectively bargain for wages, hours, and work conditions, and retirees don't have those. And the law literally states that, and you've seen my videos on this, where it says that a union could collectively bargain for employee members of an employee organization that holds an appointed position for the municipal employer. You don't have an employer. You're not sitting in an appointed job. You are not an employee. You don't have wages, hours, and work conditions. You do not fall under the Taylor law. You cannot collectively bargain. And the only thing that you have is the benefits that you earned. This is why, unfortunately, the Municipal Labor Committee leadership tried to sell off our health care, is because we're not in the union. They thought we wouldn't know, or we would just accept what they were doing to us because they got away with doing whatever they were doing forever. We have to keep saying over and over again, which we should never have had to say out loud, that a union doesn't represent a retiree, because then that basically means that the city could just go ahead and screw us all on their own. But the unions had a duty to protect retirees, and they failed at that, and instead chose to sell our benefits off to enrich their union contracts. They needed to come up with money, like when de Blasio told the UFT, if you want that raise for those 9-year contract in 2014, give us $1 billion out of the health fund. So that's extremely frustrating that we're still having to educate people on that. And we're going on 5 years fighting this bullshit, that people still just don't understand the law. And the two largest union leaders are the ones helping misspread that. And it's very frustrating after all of this time. Adrienne Adams loves her DC 37 retirees. I read your comment and added mine. How come they didn't invite you? Well, what can I tell you? I don't need those kinds of friends. What can I say? Hey, happy Friday. Happy holidays to you too. I got my 105. Well, that was probably a lot of work you went through to go get it, especially when you're dealing with cancer. Yeah, I totally understand. Any news on when AFSCME will get the heck out of DC 37? No, I should actually call Neil. I don't and see if there's any update on that. To my recollection, there hasn't been an update. I think I would have heard about that already, but there hasn't been any update to my knowledge. No. You didn't get an email either, huh? I am UFT retired school social worker attempting to clarify the issue of the changes in our prescription plan. My primary coverage, Medicare, and my secondary coverage is Emblem Health Senior Care. My prescription plan is under Emblem's Health, and I received a new prescription card yesterday. I spoke with Emblem's pharmacy rep, who stated I can continue to use Express Scripts, which is great. However, I informed the rep I never received instructions regarding using Amazon. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. And I'm working on getting you some more information on that, Murda. So if you are a Medicare eligible retiree, let's just focus on this one group, Medicare eligible retiree. You are on Medicare, you are on senior care, you purchase your drug plan from the city, you're on the Emblem, the city's Emblem drug rider. You can purchase your drugs you can get your drugs delivered by either Amazon, or you can get your drugs from Express Scripts, Medicare eligible only, okay? If you are pre-Medicare, they are saying that you must go through Prime, that you cannot use Express Scripts. If you are pre-65, pre-Medicare retiree, you have to go through Prime Therapeutics, and you cannot use Express Scripts. That's what they're telling us. So Medicare eligible, Murda, you can stay. Your plan is going to allow you to use either Amazon or Express Scripts for home delivery. Okay. What is a PBM? Because this is what they're saying is changing, right? Your health plan is the plan that they created. The formulary, which of course we had to fight to get the damn formulary, and I'm going to say it again. We emailed Michael Mulgrew and Beth Norton, their legal counsel, in-house counsel at the United Federation of Teachers, asking for assistance on these issues. They chose not to help us. They said it wasn't important, and they also said, they basically said no one's complaining to them that this is a problem. So again, Michael Mulgrew, Beth Norton, we emailed them like 3 separate times asking them to help us with this drug rider issue, the 365 issue, the formulary, and we even asked them for the costing. I encourage anyone who's a UFT retiree who hasn't been able to get costing to please contact the United Federation of Teachers. Michael Mulgrew, M. Mulgrew at UFT.org, and Beth Norton, B. Norton at UFT.org. Copy them both on the same email because they don't think that you guys have a problem not having any of this information, as well as not being allowed to take a dependent off 365 rider. They don't think that's a problem either. So I know we're working on that, but it would have been wonderful to have the union support in helping us battle this. This is what keeps telling us time and time again, we are truly in this battle for information on our own. If the United Federation of Teachers can't collaborate with our organization in fixing an issue that we're bringing to their attention, then they don't have our back. Falu807, you're asking me on Instagram, has Brad Lander been in touch with you about anything? So what I want to say about that is Brad's office gave us the supposed to be the unredacted contract by FOIL. We had a lot of problems with that contract and we wrote them back. That's another assignment that I'm going to need a little bit more time on, because what we found out from that contract, remember, you've heard me say that there was 40 pages of redacted content of how they were running this plan, the things that we needed to know. Where is the $1 billion in savings? If the $1 billion isn't met, how are they going to try to collect that? Clearly, we know they're going to come to us for it, right? In some way, deductibles, co-pays, something, prior authorizations. None of that is still unredacted. What we also noticed was that the pages jumped. The content that was redacted went from 40 pages to 83 pages. So they hid almost 100 pages of content. Now, when they put that in the contract, the full version, they literally uncondensed it. It would just say like Exhibit I, for example, and it would be 1 page. But Exhibit I ends up being, 8 pages. And they didn't say that. They made you think that they were only hiding 40 pages or 36 pages. It ends up being 83. And I can't even tell you if there's more hidden that they didn't include. Because remember, we've always told you that contracts are many more pages. Like when they did the MA plan in full in its entirety with the formulary was 10,000 pages. So that's what we got. We ended up finding out that there was more pages that were redacted. And we even questioned because they redacted content that was previously public, which we don't understand either. For example, at the bottom of one of the pages, it said in the first version, the one that was released on the OLR website, it said that in the case of a pandemic, all of the benchmarks in which the criteria that they had to meet, like how many doctors were in the plan, how quickly they have to answer a call, that they can have no dropped calls, that they provide you with the information, all that quality assurance type information, whether or not in the case of a pandemic, that they would determine, the parties, whether or not those benchmarks still stood. Well, I didn't think anything of it. As I'm comparing page by page by page, we get to that one section and they blocked out the words "in case of a pandemic." Why would you block that out? That doesn't make any sense. So you're saying basically quality control is out the window if there is a pandemic, but you didn't want us to know that quality control will go to shit if something happens? That doesn't make any sense. So there's a lot of things that we have to question, on that. Also, some of the costs where the insurance company was putting up their fees, what they were making, the cost of them to provide the administrative services for this plan. And in the original agreement, it showed that there was $6.5 million for one item. But in the new version, they redacted that dollar figure out. The dates, what's the dates of implementation to do all of these things? So you're going to start probably seeing more of this come out potentially in the lawsuit because that the other group had filed, because there's a reason why they're hiding this. And why would you redact something that was previously public? I just don't get it. So that just doesn't make any sense to me. Any more photo ops of New York City Council Speaker Adams or Mayor Adams at New York City Medicare Retirees Christmas? I know, like the other day with Snake Garrido, my eyes still hurt. Good thing I have my healthcare. Hey, Tommy, I was shocked to see that photo as well. But you know what? I mean, they've kissed her boots for 4 years. Did you get the feel from talking to Menon that she still support our bill in the council? Julie Menon's never supported our bill in the city council. And I will tell you that today she told us that she'll continue to have this conversation in January. So we are going to hope that she will schedule our meeting again for January and meet us again. I have nothing really to tell you about today's meeting. Hello, Doris. And why offer the $105 copay reimbursement if they knew they were in trouble? Ellen, I wish they would provide the financials to you on that. Maybe you can, as a member of that retired teacher chapter or beneficiary of this SHIP plan, you can ask them to provide you with the financials that the welfare fund looked at it. You'd probably be entitled to seeing some of that, and I don't see why not. It'd be interesting to find out if they tell you no. Happy holidays to all and relax a bit. Hugs from Larry. Hey, Larry. Hello, Marianne. What court case happened this week? I saw an article about Mamdani not touching Medicare for city workers. Oh, okay. So Ronnie, that article was written by AI. It's not real. Mamdani is not talking to anyone about Medicare Advantage. Sorry. That showed up on 2 separate websites, and I do not follow Newsbreak. I do not feel that Newsbreak is typically reliable in what we've been seeing. And that article not only showed up on Newsbreak, it also showed up on MSN, shockingly. But I'm going to tell you that article was written by AI, that reporter we cannot find, and it's not real. The court case that was written about in some of the papers has to do with the hands-off New York care and then a separate lawsuit with Anthem, not regarding the NYC EPPO plan. So that's what that is about. Hold on one second. I'm getting down there. I did not see where that is, but give me a second. I'll get there. So that's what those lawsuits are about. That has nothing to do with us because we're not part of that. Yes. So SHIP is $20. Can you send me that? Can you send me that email that you're talking about, Katie? Because I am not seeing that. John, will Ms. Adams be going for lucrative jobs like lobbyist or benefits consultant if she'll be a common citizen? What a great deal Medicare is for everyone. That might that sink in. I honestly, city senior care for families up another 60. So senior care there is no cost for senior care. your drug plan that you purchase from the city is going from $150 a month to $180 a month. It's going up $30. I believe that's what you're talking about, because senior care is the supplement to Medicare and there is no cost. Seems OLR is blaming Emblem for not posting the 2026 prescription cost on their website. Meanwhile, Medicare D plans do. Yes, we told OLR that. Absolutely. Yep. So please contact Michael Mulgrew and Beth Norton at the UFT and let them know. Got one card from Emblem with the same ID but different CMS bin numbers. So you will be getting new Medicare. You will be getting new cards for your drug plan, and if you're NYC EPPO pre-Medicare retirees, you'll be getting a new card as well. Some of you were sent out a card erroneously. Some of the cards didn't have information on the back. Some of you who have what we call split contracts, right? Split contract is where you have one person in the family that's on Medicare and one or more pre-Medicare. That's called a split contract. Some of those families, there was a couple thousand people, got a card that said that even the younger dependents, the card said senior care. Now it's clear that like a 15-year-old is not going to be on senior care. They goofed up there as well. Know that they are fixing that. But the drug plan, I'll get into more questions about the drug plan in a second. I think if you drop ship, you can never get it back. I understand that, Helen, but it might not even be worth keeping. So that's the evaluation that we have to do with you. Like we really have to talk about what you're truly getting out of it. Just because you might not get something back doesn't mean that you have to keep it. It may not be worth a benefit keeping, understandably. Look at what it is actually giving you back. Is it worth what you're spending? For example, if you are someone who needs more discipline in saving, maybe you want to purchase like a life insurance plan. But if you're really good at saving, then you have a discipline that you're not going to touch that money. And knowing that most people will buy a plan that typically expires like when you're 70 something years old, it's not going to pay out after. But then you're paying an insurance company all of these years and this amount of money that you'll never going to get something out of. But if you were to take that money that you would have spent on that plan and let's say put it in a CD or put it into something, a little small investment vehicle, that it would be there in case you needed it, then you would have that. And that would have helped, but clearly that would have had to have been done some time ago. With this, you're talking about a supplemental benefit. It gives very little benefit. And I think one of the things that someone was texting me about before, and I'd have to go back and check, which is why I wanted to sit down with this plan. Yes, I understand. It makes it absolutely torturous to get reimbursed. Absolutely, Just Deb. And the benefit $100, right? Or your hearing aids, which are like $6,000, you get a reimbursement. But if you were to save your money aside and put it in a little CD and made a little money back, by the time you needed hearing aids, you would have something to offset the cost for that. It comes down to discipline and savings. Are you getting the value out of that insurance plan compared to what you're putting into it, especially over the time? Now, if they're going to double the premium and yet there's not a deficit, but they want to increase a bigger cushion, why? That should be something that you need to ask, especially when they're not being transparent about the fund needing to double a premium without ever having told you that this was coming or a potential coming, or even to incrementally increase it. Why didn't they go up like $5 last year? Why all of a sudden an additional $10 a month when the plan was so cheap to begin with? That's what doesn't make any sense, and that they're not being transparent about it. How's the copay legislation going? Still chugging along. It was like 13 months since the last time we met with them. Didn't they just vote to give themselves a 16% raise? Well, the city council did, but I don't think that's going to go through until next year. A month and 2 years, thanks to New York City for showing us that you really think about your senior workers. I hear you. Helen, yes, I believe you're correct. Oh, I don't know what that was answering, so I'm going to let that go. Yes, they need to address EMS issues as well. But we are her jewels, Marianne. Yes, this is a reference to Speaker Adams. Always goes, my retirees are the jewels of the city. Of course we are, while she ignores you. UFT is too busy threatening to sue ABC and pander about the para bill they never pushed. That was shocking. To read again that the United Federation of Teachers hired a corporate law firm for like the second or third time to threaten active and retired members with further litigation. Just, it doesn't even make any sense. To me, that is so anti-union, especially that they're wanting to sue their own union members, which is for using what? For using the name UFT, ABC UFT members or something. They don't even want you to refer to the UFT, but meanwhile, Unity UFT, More UFT, New Action UFT, you the union member are the UFT. It's not the people that sit up in the palace that are the UFT. You are the UFT. Without you, there would be no UFT. If all of you said, the hell with this, we're starting our own union, decertifying Michael Mulgrew, have a nice day, where our sheer ship is sailing, you become the new union. Michael Mulgrew needs you, but to use your dues to sue your own members, that's ugly. And DC 37 tried doing the same shit. Yeah, it's just crazy. What does the number after our name mean? That's a really good question. It's the first time I'm actually seeing that. And it's only happening to the people who are on YouTube. So I don't know what that means. It could just be a different way. Maybe you don't have an account because like Ellen doesn't have a number after her name. Ellen is Ellen. Hey, Ellen. UFT has the largest welfare fund of any New York City unions that they don't have a prescription drug plan for their retirees. That is criminal. They are the largest union. They are the richest union with $1 billion reserve, and yet they don't provide a drug plan for their union members. And they even employ pharmacists, you always hear Jeff Sorkin saying. Crazy. That to me is absolutely shocking. Maybe that's something the RTC should start making a ruckus about, is pushing them, if they really do want to support retirees, is to carry a drug plan. DC 37 provides a drug plan for their retirees. I just don't get it. I'm a capable senior who can do the paperwork for $105. It's such a waste of time and a royal pain in the ass collecting and making copies. And there should be a way of doing that online. Snapshot a photo, upload a picture or something. Yet me and my father is UFOA, and all his prescriptions are through his welfare fund as a retiree, and they are small. Yep, they absolutely. Yep. And you know, your former unions negotiate for healthcare. So this is another crazy thing we keep getting told. Retirees keep telling us, like, my UFT union. I say, well, your former union. No, they're my union. They're your former union. Well, they provide our health benefits. I said, no, they don't provide your health benefits. The city provides health benefits. Unions don't provide health care. They provide you with a welfare fund benefit, a prescription plan, if they have one, vision, dental, things like that. They do not provide your health insurance. The city does. Now, how does the union provide the welfare fund benefit? They literally negotiate. They literally negotiate with the city for funding for that. It's like $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, depending what union you're in, though, and how much those unions negotiate for that monies. So maybe Michael Mulgrew should be taking some of that money that he's getting for the welfare fund and putting it towards a retiree drug plan. I mean, that would probably make more sense. MLC is gaslighting city council and other group, claiming 1096 goes against collective bargaining. Stu Eber of Comro mentioned this as a guest at the RTC. He disagreed with them, but the MLC are pushing this lie. Imagine. I absolutely know. I understand that. You have to give SHIP the following: EOBs, proof of payment, billing summary, credit card statements, and credit card receipts. I'm very detail oriented, and despite it, it's very time consuming. I hear you, Murta. On Instagram, Kathy says, as a retired DC 37 school aide, besides our $15, is there anything else that's changing now? So are you, Kathy, are you talking about the $15 copay that's on senior care? Because if that's the only thing that's been in effect since January of 25, we are trying to pass legislation to roll that back. But there's nothing else changing right now. If that's what you're asking, the answer to that is no. There's nothing else. There is nothing changing. Okay. Let's see. What other comments do I have down here? Is there a problem with the new NYC EPPO health cards? I heard something. Not to my knowledge. Retirees are not part of collective bargaining. Absolutely correct. I changed my drug plan to WellCare Classic, drug plan $46 a month. Very good. I am retired and have medicine under my union DC 37. That hasn't changed, right? Deborah Corelli, no, it hasn't. The letter I received says no longer Express Scripts. Prime is the new one, UFT member. Okay, so Ronnie, what does that mean? And I actually started to say this before and I didn't finish my sentence. So what is a PBM? A PBM is a pharmacy benefit manager, PBM for short. And what they do is they are the middleman. They're the ones that make the deals with the drug manufacturers, and then they set the pricing on what that drug is what the pharmacy can charge you for that medication. Because of course they need to cut, right? They have to make money. They have to pay the manufacturer of the drug for their medication. They have to pay the pharmacy for their job, and they have to collect money from you. They have to tell the pharmacy what to collect from you. If they have their own mail order, which Prime Therapeutics does, Prime uses Amazon, then they have to pay the PBM. So Prime, think of Prime as the middleman. I'm going to put up an image on this in a little while, and I'll put this up on Instagram, and I'll also post it to our Facebook and Threads and wherever. So just think about them as the middleman. So the insurance company, Emblem, has been using Express Scripts forever as the PBM. They said, we're going to get a new PBM. And the new PBM is Prime Therapeutics. Now, really, that shouldn't have really mattered to you who the company is. Your concern should be, are my drugs still covered, and what do they cost? And those are the two things that the Office of Labor, Mayor's Office of Labor Relations and the UFT refused to help us to identify. We didn't get the formulary until like December 3rd, and we still don't have drug pricing. And it's well past open enrollment, which is why at this point we told you to look at what the cost was of the premium for the city, go by what your drug pricing was last year, and then look for a drug on the marketplace. And if it ended up being more beneficial, choose the drug plan from the marketplace. And that would be typically, if you're not potentially having more health issues, would potentially need more drugs that may or may not be covered. Okay. So we were frustrated by that, not having that information. So the PBM is now going from Express Scripts. So they're going to move to the side, and Prime Therapeutics comes in. They now become the middleman, and they're the ones that have a new protocol, new pricing, new formulary, whatever it is. And that's the plan that's in place. Now, if you're 65 and over, if you are a Medicare retiree, they're saying that you on Medicare can use 2 different mail orders. You could use Prime's own Amazon, or through a relationship that Prime developed with Express Scripts. If you are a pre-Medicare retiree, you could only use Prime, is what they're telling us as well. Now, it would have been great if they had this shit up on their website, because of course, knowledge is power. But for some reason, they don't think it's important for us to know this. So we have to keep making emails and calls and trying to find this information out and find out why they're not sharing this information. So for right now, what we're being told from official channels, so you're aware, 65 and over, Prime Therapeutics has 2 different mail orders. You can, and you also have a list of pharmacies that you can use that are in network. They have 2 mail orders. Prime uses Amazon and Express Scripts. If you are pre-Medicare retirees or an active worker, you can only use Prime, and Prime is not allowing that group to use Express Scripts. You can only use Amazon from what they're saying. Did I answer that question, Katie? Mike Mulgrew is a waste. Emailing him does 0. Well, Robert, if you can't be effective, at least you can, maximize your annoying ability. They need to know that this is a concern, because they're telling me literally the one that would, the attorney for the city was the attorney for the union, the United Federation of Teachers, Beth Norton, is saying that this isn't a problem because she doesn't hear from you. I think she needs to hear from you, Robert. So maybe you should give her a call. Ronnie, Medicare or pre-Medicare? So it looks like I'm missing a question. What was Ronnie's question? Ronnie is asking if Medicare Part D is switching from Express Scripts to Prime. Yes, I think I just went through that, right? I think I just went through that. Yes, and great, Kathy. So that answered your question. Perfect. Let's see. The letter I received said I am on Prime. Yes, because Prime is the new pharmacy benefit manager. You are Prime. You are Medicare. Same here, Janice. I hope Marianne sees the question and response. Ronnie, did that answer your question? I'm getting down there. There's like a whole bunch of questions in the chat. So tell me, Ronnie, if I answered your question, yes or no. Are there any updates on the copay case? I already said no. And if you're looking for court case updates, look on our website under latest developments. All the court case updates on our court cases will be there. So if there's no update there, then there's no update. We're not forgetting about that. They're just dragging their feet. And remember, it's December. It's the holidays. Not that that's an excuse, because I don't believe that's an excuse, but the city is useless, and towards the holidays, they're even more useless. And at the end of the calendar year, they're completely incompetent, especially if it's OLR, which it is. What, the redacted portions of the contract? Yes, it's very interesting. Are these prescriptions through? I'm thinking you're talking to her. Regarding the contract, redactions need to be presented to Brad. Let him explain it. I've already brought some of those to their office's attention. Prime even wrote that one of my meds is not covered by them, so I'm confused as to where Express Scripts comes in just for delivery. So if your drug is not covered by the formulary, then you have to do an appeal with your doctor if there's no medication that you can go to that's in the formulary as an alternative, right? And then that you'd be probably out of pocket for that. Now, for delivery, if you wanted home delivery for medications, because people do get, if you're on a maintenance med, you can get your medications, typically a 3-month supply, through mail order. Many people like the mail order plan. You pay less for a 3-month supply than you do at retail. So if that's the case, that's why people like to do that. As a Medicare eligible retiree, you have 2 choices. That's all that they're saying. In the news, Lander's running for Congress, announced yesterday. He is still the comptroller. Yes, he is. And it's not news that he's running for Congress. We knew that in November. Do you want me to email you the current? I'm thinking that's for somebody else. SHIP gives dental, ambulance reimbursement, and $20,000 in home care. So, but Janice, if people don't have home care or there isn't necessarily a need for home care, that's a benefit you're potentially paying for that you might not ever see. And dental, a dental reimbursement, your union should probably give you a separate dental plan, I believe. And ambulance reimbursement, you'd have to look at what the ambulance copay is. Was it like $300? So you're still, but I'm unfamiliar with it. Why it still is a cost benefit analysis. You have to determine if you paying $240 a year for a benefit that you may not use for 5 or 10 years, and you don't know if they're going to raise the premium for that again. I understand for some of you that maybe have better pensions, you don't really care to spend $240 a month. I mean, a year. I wouldn't say that that's a blanket statement, Janice. It's really an individual decision, and you need to do a cost benefit analysis at looking that is what you could potentially get, and is it worth paying for the risk that you may not ever even use it. So I understand for some people it's peace of mind, for others it gets to a point where it's not. I mean, you literally heard people talk about this even with the long-term care plans when we had Ellen on my radio show with John Blau. A friend told me about that Mamdani supposed statement. Yeah, Camille, it's not real. It's literally a fake statement. It is a fake news piece. We asked several journalists about it to help us uncover it, and they had gone back to the Mamdani campaign because clearly he's not speaking to us, and they said that's not real. And we went to city council because the article even said that Mamdani was working with city council on legislation. That's not true either. I spent so much time perfecting my snark by trolling Adrian Adams. What will I do come January? Looking forward to your guidance with the new city council cohort. So, Pamela, I'll tell you, we're hoping we don't need to be snarky next year. We're hoping that they actually do the right thing and help us out, right? Ellen from PSC Info recently shared on our Facebook page, it seems that pre-Medicare retirees who live in New Jersey, Connecticut, and outside New York, lower Hudson counties, there are serious questions about coverage. Ellen, I didn't see that. You're saying that was on our Facebook page. Okay. Great, Ronnie. You're welcome, and I'm glad that answered your question. I'm frustrated that you haven't been appointed to Mamdani's transition team, while individuals like Michael Mulgrew, Bob Lynn, the latter who wanted to destroy 12-126 for decades, are hardly a fair team of rivals for us municipal retirees. I know. And as we heard, it looks like there's been another breakup in the Mamdani campaign. According to the news today, he is not so happy with former Mayor Bill de Blasio due to his scandalous love affair that became front page news in the New York Post. So I don't even think that's worthy of page 6, but why anyone really gives a damn on Bill de Blasio cheating on one woman and sleeping with another in another state, I have absolutely no clue. It just shows, what an ugly person he is. That's just ugly. But if he could lie and cheat on one woman, he'll lie and cheat on all of us. And didn't he do that already? Absolutely, he did. So, I mean, it's just one more for the same old MO. Very funny. I heard Adrian Adams' next job is a party planner for parties given in her honor only. Book early. I know. As a UFT retiree, my increase for 2026 is $600. Long Beach, $600 for what? What is that for? What is the $600 for? What would replace ship? What does it actually give you? I got screwed during COVID and never got it. So it would provide a reimbursement and some other benefits. We'll get into this as a separate meeting. I'll see if next week I want to get the book, because as I was looking on their website, it just doesn't. I think the information on the UFT website is very poor, but we have to look at it. 600 times number of UFT. I still need to know what the 600 is. I'm getting down there. Dawn, I most use Ship Dental, $500 less 120 is $380. Now 500 less 250 is 260. I'm still not understanding your math on that, but they did double the ship and they increased the drug plan to help offset the $1 billion that they stole. Yeah. I've written OLR in the mayor's office regarding the crazy confusions during the benefits transfer period and the lack of info for the emblem drug formulary. I'll follow up tomorrow with Beth Norton and Michael Mulgrew. I hope others from UFT do likewise, because Marianne shouldn't be the only one advocating for us. I mean, I totally agree with you. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Did you have to calculate your union dues into the ship payment? Because really, what else are you getting for your dues? We'll make this a subject. I think this really does need to be a conversation. We can schedule one. I'm sorry to ask this again. I get my diabetes drugs, including expensive Trulicity from Express Scripts. So, John, are you pre-Medicare or Medicare? A frivolous lawsuit is frowned on by a good judge. They use our dues to sue fellow union members. Well, that's what they're threatening to do now. If we have auto deposit of our union pension checks now, do we find out what they're deducting each month? So you can, I guess this is Sam L. You're supposed to be able to log into your pension system and look at your pension stubs. I am NYSERS, New York City Employees Retirement System. I can log into my pension system and see what my deductions are in real time. I can look at my pension. I can see what deductions there are. I can see when the cost of living adjustment is coming. When it's been in my check, I can see the amount. You really need to look at your pension stubs, because you need to make sure that your deductions are accurate. Otherwise, how are you going to know that they're not? Yeah. I don't know. Lainey, happy holidays. Can you help me understand Silver Scripts? $660 per person. What is that for in Silver Scripts? And what is the $2,100 person about? Oh, so $237. So Lainey, that's an entire separate question. Reach out to William Shenton. He did email you or private message you. Please look at your messages. I asked William to connect with you on this because he is also 237. The 660, I believe, is your deductible, and the $2,100 is the federal maximum out of pocket. So once you've reached spending $2,100 for the year, then your drugs are covered in 100%. That's how Medicare drug plans are supposed to run. The deductible, however, is only a little bit higher than what is on the marketplace. The marketplace deductible is $615. So for whatever reason, Local 237 is charging you a little more. So you're going from $615 to $660. So he's making a little bit of money off of you. But the 2100 is from the Inflation Reduction Act that was implemented under President Biden. It was actually a stopgap measure because prior to that, there was no maximum out of pocket. The president then wanted to limit how much you as a retiree paid for medications. And so he implemented that $2,100 cap. Before, there was none. You would have the catastrophic amount that you would hit, then the donut hole. And then once you got out of the donut hole after paying like $6,500 worth of medication, then they would pick it up, but you were still had a co-share. This, after the 2100, there is no more. Okay. But he is literally running, this is an Aetna SilverScript plan that he put you on. It's the same plan, similar plan that DC 37 retirees have. Like I have this plan. So it truly is a Medicare creditable Part D plan, the way it was supposed to be. But please check your private messaging. William was supposed to message you the other day. He did message me that he did reach out to you. So if you don't see that, look for that message or in your private messaging on Messenger from William because he wanted to talk to you. Let's see. Can you reiterate why 1096 is so important? Okay, this is super easy. So 1096 is really important because we are not in a union. Retirees are not in unions. And so when like the speaker was saying, well, this should be negotiated at the table. What table? Because retirees don't negotiate. We don't have a table. We don't get invited to anything. And we made our deals. We were promised what we would have when we retired. So because we're not in a union, we have to legislate a benefit. You have health care. Your health care is provided to you, paid for by the city of New York, including your Medicare B premium reimbursement, because Mayor John Lindsay passed a law known as 12-126 in 1967. When Medicare became available, he wanted to make sure he gave it to New York City workers. He could give it to employees by personnel order, and he did. But he could not give it to retirees. He had to pass a law. And he asked two council members, Mario Marola and Edmund Farrell, two Democrats from the Bronx, to please pass a law. And they did. They drafted a bill that became known as 12-126, and he signed it. That's why you have Medicare B reimbursement, and the city pays for it. The city will pay the full cost of health coverage up to the HIP HMO for every employee, retiree, and their dependent. The city council passed that law, and they amended it a dozen times from 1973 to 2001, typically spearheaded by who? Mary Pinkett, who was the first Black woman in the city council from District 28, which used to be in Brooklyn. It's now in Queens, and ironically, the speaker holds it, and later became District 35, which is currently held by Crystal Hudson. Mary Pinkett was also the president of SEIU Local 237, currently held today by Greg Floyd. She knew the unions could not provide healthcare benefits. It had to be done through the council, which is why she did it for decades, while she was chair of Civil Service and Labor and chair of Aging. 1096 is the only way for us to get anything because we have no ability to negotiate it. It has to be done through the city council, especially since they're the ones that legislated the law of why we have healthcare, why we have Medicare, why we have Medicare B reimbursement, and why the city pays for our health insurance to begin with. So this is why we need that law. The unions don't negotiate for retirees. We're not in their unions. Unions can only negotiate for those in their union. We're not in their union. No, not even you pesky retirees from UFT. No, you're not in the union. You are a loyalty union member. You are not in the bargaining unit. You're not. Sorry. And even more proof is when your union files their mandatory LM2 reports. They have to report how many union members they have. Psst, you're not counted in that number. So, sorry. Hate to tell you that. Truth hurts. but you are a loyalty member, which is why also your union, UFT, keeps you connected to the union by connecting these health plans to your dues. If you don't pay the dues, you don't get the health plan. That's how they keep you. Because if they're not working for you, many of you have wanted to separate from the retired teacher chapter and not pay your dues. But if you do that, you lose these health plans that you guys seem to like. So they're connected. They're keeping you attached, tethered by dangling that health plan in front of you, which is an optional benefit that most people do not have. So again, choice is yours. Let's see. They would not give me pricing. So Abby, they are supposed to try calling again on Monday. Try calling the number on your card, because they were supposed to do this Monday. And I'm not sure if it's a training issue or what, but they are supposed to give the drug information. And if Prime can't, they're supposed to transfer you back to Emblem to get you the drug pricing. So start recording those calls when you're calling them to find out exactly how that's going. That way, that's your evidence of who's telling you what. Get a name, get a date, get a time, and that they're telling you your drug. They can't tell you your drug cost, or they'll tell you that your drug cost is X, and let's make sure after January it still is X. But it's not like X plus 200. So as a pre-Medicare retiree, I don't have a DC. No, John, we have said from the beginning, like we've said this a million times, if you have a union drug plan, the information I gave about the UFT retirees doesn't impact you. You have to tell me what union you are and if you have a union drug plan. You are DC 37 like me. You have a union drug plan. The information about Prime has nothing to do with you. You are in DC 37's drug plan, which is Aetna Silver Script, which is not changing. There is no change for a DC 37 retiree. This conversation is for people who do not get a drug plan. I know, shocking, that the UFT is like the largest union in the city and the richest union and doesn't provide their retirees with a drug plan, not their pre-65 or their Medicare eligible. You, John, are DC 37. You do have a drug plan paid for by the city, paid for by DC 37, and you get your drug plan through your union. And because of that, you cannot purchase the drug plan from the city, which you wouldn't want to anyway, because the premium is $180 a month. So this answer that you heard me talk about before, I specifically said it was for people who have to purchase the drug plan from the city. You do not purchase your drug plan from the city. You get your plan for free from your union. When does Comptroller Bradlander consider it a good time to release the stabilization fund audit? I honestly, I don't know. I was told it was coming this week and I don't have it. I messaged today, I'd asked for it and I got no reply. If 65 plus uses Express Scripts, do the stupid prior authorizations still apply? Yes. Or do the prescriptions continue as they previously had? So, Kathleen, if you have a current prior authorization on file, you should be contacting your pharmacy, asking them when that prior authorization expires. If so, and you're concerned that there might be some lapse in your coverage, just ask your doctor for another prescription and get it in while the prior authorization you still have it. Otherwise, don't worry. What we were told by Emblem was that your prior authorization from Express Scripts will transfer over to Prime Therapeutics. And then when that's going to expire, Prime will tell you you need to get another prior authorization. So it's called continuity of care, and they're trying to transfer that over for you so that you don't have any break or lapse in coverage. But when that does expire, what you do need to know is when that current prior authorization expires, then you will need a new one. You'll only find out that information by calling the drug plan, or possibly even your pharmacy can tell you. So find out that information and then you should be okay. But yes, prior authorizations are on a lot of medications, and it's not just this plan, and it's not even just on the pre-65 plan or the Aetna Silver Script from 237 or DC 37 or WellCare from it. A lot of drug plans have a prior authorization because they want to see if there's a cheaper drug or an alternative that they can get you to go on. Okay, they're trying to reduce their costs. So if the drug that you're currently on is a higher medication and it's not in the formulary or it's in a higher tier, they're going to ask you to pay more money for that. They do that in the Silver Script through DC 37. So they still want to, there's a lot of reasons why they want to do that. Costs, basically, and trying to get you to use specific, medication. About Prime, they told me they would only prove about half the amount of one of my meds. So, Jean, you may want to start having that conversation with your doctor. And we're probably, after this plan is implemented, start having conversations with the city about what they've done and if there's any changes that they can make. And we can be in part of those conversations as well. But for now, take what you were told by Prime back to your doctor and see if there's anything they can start to do with that now. They may have to file an appeal, which they can do, or change a medication. Thank you for that comprehensive explanation, Marian. You're a wealth of information. I tell you, I joked about it again today. I feel like Cliff Clavin on union history, city council history, labor law, and healthcare is just absolutely ridiculous. Do we have to contact Prime Therapeutics if we want to use them for our mail order? I'm assuming I'll have to let each doctor know where to send the drugs. Yes, you will. As I'm a Prime member, I think I will get my drugs filled. I believe you will. So once, from what we're being told, you're getting your cards in the mail, and the cards should have a welcome package, and it should tell you what you need to do. And that, in part of that information should be to create an account. The messages I got today were that those who tried to create the account could not do so ahead of time. We've passed that messaging along, but you may not be able to do that till either just before January 1st or just after January 1st. But I think we're going to try to help get you more information on this. But yes, you really should create an account. I've said it all week to other retirees. You should have your Emblem account. You should have your Medicare.gov account. You should have a Social Security account. You should have all of those so that you could go in and see the things that are being billed. Because how will you know that that drugs are not or bills are not going through your insurance because you didn't log in and look at your explanation of benefits, your EOBs? You really do need to look at that and set up those accounts. There's a lot of people that complain to me that there's too many passwords, and I totally get it. I use a password keeper, and there's several different password keepers. You sign on with a master password, and then you have all of your passwords in there, and it helps you actually when you go to one of those websites, it'll auto fill in your username and password. And because you should have a different password for every single website, you shouldn't be using the same password for all of your logins. That is a great way to get hacked. At least that way, if there is a breach, you've only lost one, not 100. So think about that. What pharmacies are in the network for retirees UFT? So Sam, I don't know if you're pre-Medicare, honestly, and if you told me, I don't remember if you're pre-Medicare or if you're pre-Medicare or Medicare, but regardless, if you are UFT, you'd have to look at the Prime Therapeutics website, and their in-network pharmacies should be on that page. Okay. And I'm sure that'll become more prevalent when you get the welcome package. SHIP sends information of their coverage. If you don't have the letter, call them. They'll send it to you. Let's see. Hi, Ian from CWA 1180. I think I may have actually messaged you. Yeah, I think you sent me the information on the plan. Yes, we did. We were looking at that. You were sending me the messages that you were getting back from CWA. Yeah, Love the new celebratory cafe press items. Well, thank you, Laura. I was working on changing our logo the other day so that it was just the round circle and added a couple of kitschy little things for the holiday. They don't give us too many choices of what we could put that on. And it give me like, I don't know, 17 different pages of stuff to put it on. But I wanted to make sure it was some more holiday-y type stuff and some, cute little keychains and whatever, that whoever wanted some of that. So if there's something, and I have to go back and look at that post, if there was something you guys wanted that you don't see on there, let me know. And I will try to put it up. And if not, try to, resource it from somewhere. I need doctor's letter to get approvals. Yes, you have to go back to the provider. After we questioned whether CWA and other unions were providing creditable drug coverage, despite also contacting them with concerns, OLR didn't do anything. I'm still very upset by this. Ellen, I agree with you 100%. It literally, I got so angry last weekend, Saturday morning, recognizing that OLR has not communicated this, not the commissioner, not the deputy commissioner, not the people that work on the health plans, nobody. That I contacted the deputy mayor, and the deputy mayor on Saturday morning wrote me back and he said, I'll let OLR know. And he did. And then OLR writes me right back that they didn't have an answer and that I asked too many questions and send them too many emails. Well, if you answered the fucking question the first time, maybe I wouldn't have had to ask 4 times. This is how frustrating they are. So if any elected officials are listening, the people that are currently running Office of Labor Relations, like Claire Levitt and Renee Campion, need to go, because there is no liaison within the mayor's Office of Labor Relations that communicates with the retiree organizations. They don't communicate. They don't answer questions. You're on hold for 45 minutes and people hang up in exasperation. So anyone who's listening, Renee Campion needs to go. And I've been asked if I would come back to New York City and run for, or encourage the Mom Donnie campaign to run for the the commissioner of labor. I would love to do that. Chances are they will never consider me for that. But this is not someone, she doesn't, commissioner of labor relations. She does not communicate with retired labor. She provides no relations. So it's a complete failure of leadership in that office of mayor's Office of Labor Relations. I completely agree with you. I get a 90-day from Express Scripts. Okay. I don't know the question, Mary. If I forgot the question, you got to put the whole thing back together, because it's too much. This is Ian. Did you get my email? Yes, I did. Why didn't they tell me in October? Only people on CWA 11 drug got plan. So, Ian, that was the question I literally asked OLR this week. Why isn't CWA advising their retiree members that they have a creditable drug plan? So Ian, would you do me a favor? And I want you to write Renee Campion, R. Campion, at olr.nyc.gov. I mean, at olr.nyc.gov. Or you could even go to, hold on, I'm going to pull this up. Remember last week I had you contacting Office of Labor Relations, and I said to reach out to Renee. Okay, this is the page. I want you to do it through here because this gets monitored. Hold on, I'm coming back to the chat. I want you to email the commissioner at that address I just dropped in the chat. It's coming over. Email her through there and explain to her in that email that CWA 1180 did not tell you that they were offering a creditable Part D drug plan through WellCare, and that you needed a creditable drug plan and had purchased one through the city of New York. Why were you not informed by your union that you could be on the union drug plan, and you are now stuck on the city drug plan? Tell them exactly how you feel about that. Why were you not informed? The union drug plan is free, right? You're now paying $180 a month from OLR. That's a really great question. You're welcome to CC us on that, retirees at nycretirees.org. Please CC us. I want to be on that email so they see that we're helping encourage you to get information from them. That goes directly to the mayor's office, who forwards it to the commissioner. You will probably get an email from a Rose Amangual, and then eventually get an answer. And if you don't, I have the copy and I could email them as well for you. So Ian, thank you for that. Let's see. Are we getting a Prime card for prescriptions? Andrew, if you are currently getting a drug plan from the city of New York, you will get a drug plan card. If you have a union plan, it's whatever your union plan is. Do we have to go with Prime? Nope, you can go with your local pharmacy. Did Jeff Sorkin email any UFT retirees from last night that are on Medicare? So Jeff Sorkin emailed active workers yesterday from the welfare fund. Did any retirees get an email? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, especially a retired wheel. Well, we got plenty of time to be bitchy. Thank you, Mary. How are you? Maybe we retirees should offer Mary Ann to be on Mom Donnie's board. He has a website. You guys are free to go and email him. Let me see if I could find that. Oops. He has a new transition website, but I don't even think he'd have, I don't even think he has an email. Nope, no email. But I'll give you the new transition website because he moved away from his election website. That's down there. Oops, that was the commissioner page again. Sorry about that. Okay, so this link coming now is his new transition website, but I don't see an email. Maybe you guys can find it or figure out how he's using his emails. Is de Blasio in the Epstein files? That's great, guys. Oh my God, that's really funny, Long Beach. That is hysterical. Love Joe Maniscalco for writing how city council members prefer passing a bill that would give them a 16% raise, but they don't seem to give a damn about EMS workers, our retiree 1096 bill, and the FEC senior housing. I'm with you. Justin Brannon is on the Mamdani transition team. Now I know why he ghosted us. I didn't know Justin was on that list. Very interesting. Okay. Is there a way you can announce meetings through email rather than just on Facebook? How can I get a valid email to you? So Travel Lover, you have to email the organization, not me directly, because I will never get through. I don't get through the emails I have now. So you have to email retirees at nycretirees.org. Also, this Friday live is a Friday every Friday. We do it every Friday at 6 o'clock. And I don't typically send an email out about it. What you can do is subscribe or follow our YouTube channel since you're coming to me on YouTube. And when you see that you get an alert that we've gone live, make sure you subscribe to us and you checked off you want alerts. Every time we go live, you should get the alert. I don't send out an email on the meetings because we really don't do meetings. Okay. Now I'm going back to someone else asking me another question. Give me 1 minute. Okay. The official response for people over 65. This is what we're being told. Express Scripts is available to those 65 years old on Medicare. Express Scripts mail order is a separate company from the original PBM. So Express Script can be used for Medicare eligible only, from what we're being told. And sorry, travel lover, to finish your answer. I don't send out emails. Otherwise, I would be annoying the crap out of everybody every time I went live. So you just literally have to follow us. This is being broadcast right now as I'm speaking to you into Facebook, into Instagram, into YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. So, and LinkedIn, it's under my personal account. Okay. And then we take this, I download it, and then we'll put it back up on YouTube. So you should get that information in one of those places from me whenever I go live. So if you're not on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, or you're on X, or you're on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn, because I try to broadcast these in all 5 places at the same time. Did you see what Bob Holden had to say about Adrian Adams? It was very telling, exactly what we've said. No, I didn't. Share that with me, Ellen. I did not see that. I saw on TV, if they deny your drugs, you can ask for an external review. There's an appeal process. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, my dog was snoring in the background. Did you actually hear that? It wasn't me snoring, and I wasn't farting either. She literally sits here and she's like, that's a sensitive microphone. Oh my goodness. Is NYC EPPO going into effect uncontested? Well, it will be implemented because the judge didn't stop it. Yes, so it is going forward, but there is still a court case going on. Rose, it's been contested in court and went nowhere. Well, it's not done yet. That doesn't mean it's not gonna be, that doesn't mean it potentially can't be stopped. There is a plan the plan is going in effect January 1st. However, there is still 2 court battles against this plan. It just meant, what the decision by the judge was that there wasn't enough there wasn't strong enough evidence to convince the judge that imminent danger would exist if he didn't stop it. You need to have that harm, and the judge felt that both parties, both in the Aetna case as well as in the Hands Off New York Care case, did not prove with evidence that there would be harm if the plan went forward, that it had to be stopped imminently. So immediately, so that harm wouldn't happen. They did not meet that burden. And remember, that's a strong burden to meet. We put in like 500 affidavits in our case the first time that we did this. So just because it wasn't stopped doesn't mean that it can't be changed later or rolled back later if there's a harm that's identified. So more of that's going to have to come out, but we'll see what happens. But yes, it is contested. There's 2 separate lawsuits. I think I said Aetna accidentally. It's Anthem has sued them, as well as a group of active employees and retirees, DC 37, PSC. There's a group of people. And one of the documents and that police group down in Florida keeps saying that they're private citizens. No, they're not. They're actually city employees and retirees. Nothing like smearing workers because you don't agree with them. But absolutely, that it is going forward, but the cases still continue. And yes, thank you, Katie. As of now, it goes forward January 1st. Oh, there you go. So William, thank you for correcting her. It's 6:15, not 6:60. And now at least you are connected. Lainey, you do see him? Perfect. I see that now. You'll check your messages. Great. William is a great resource on this. He's also 237, and he could talk to you about that plan better than I. I messaged the mayor about info and OLR about my drug. He forwarded my message to the OLR commissioner, and someone in OLR responded saying they're out of the office until December 10th. And here we are. So you might want to write them back, or write the mayor back that you never got an answer. Go ahead, write the mayor back and say, hold on, I'm going to go back there now. Let me get that one. Email Mayor Adams. And you can write him, and whoops, there you go. I'm going to drop this one in the chat. Email the mayor and say you never got an answer. Just keep doing it. If they won't work with you, I just say maximize your annoying ability. I got a new wrinkle in coverage from Mount Sinai, my annual mammogram. They sent me a letter with an estimated out-of-pocket cost of $205, including a $15 copay. I'm Medicare plus senior care and met the deductible months ago. The cost is for the facility use fee. Can Mount Sinai do that? So, Lisa, I don't understand. A facility fee is something we're still trying to battle with the city, which is why we need this legislation, which is another reason why we need the legislation, is this copay issue and their abuse of copays. But I don't understand what the $205 is. I do need you to go look at your Medicare and your senior care explanation of benefits. And if you do not have an account for those, please create one and then download those claims forms. Marianne, Ronnie here again. Just reading the Prime therapeutic letter. There is no mention of being able to go through Express Scripts, and Prime is saying 2 of my prescriptions formulary cannot be filled. So, Ronnie, without prior authorization. So you can get it with prior authorization. That's one. And it's not saying Express Scripts because Prime uses Prime. And if you are Medicare eligible, Ronnie, I am telling you that we are getting it directly from the insurance company that you can use Express Scripts or Amazon for home delivery. So I'm hoping I'll provide something in writing to you about this, but the letter's not going to say that. They didn't even provide you with your costs, and they didn't provide you with the full list of pharmacies. So there's still more information that you should be getting. Maybe all of you guys that are not getting these answers might want to click one of those links below, like both of them, the one that says email the mayor and email OLR commissioner, and tell them you're not giving us this information. Where's this information? Because I can't get it to you any faster than they're willing to give it. But if a lot of you become squeaky wheels with me, maybe you can help get it to us a lot faster. So please look for those links, Ronnie. Here's a link again for the mayor saying that OLR is not distributing the information on the drug plan. You don't know which home delivery you can use. You don't know your drug pricing, and it's already December 12th. So that's your homework for today too. And prior authorization is normal. Everybody has to deal with that. If you do have a current prior authorization on file, it will extend over to the new plan, the new drug provider. But if it's expiring, you're going to need a new one. Mary Pinkett is spinning in her grave because of these 3. Yes, they are, Camille. Yes, they are. If you are mid-prescription, it will carry over for the length of the prescription. I just said that. That's fantastic. You are reading my mind, Katie. I'd speak with your doctor or nurse at the office about getting the prescription. I would agree with you. We suggested that as well would be a good idea. Let's see. And remember, they did, because the unions changed the formulary, which they negotiate. They did say that 2% of the people on the NYC EPPO plan would lose their access to the formulary medications. They never addressed the Medicare people. Never. So we'll be digging into that as well. Let's see. An Express Scripts rep told me that my prior authorization would be honored by Prime until it expires. Absolutely, Rita. That's what we've been saying. Yep. There was no prior authorization before. That doesn't mean that won't change. And like I said, it's a new year. The plans change from year to year. So why did I get a Prime card? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. What's the Prime card for? So John, are you can you message me please through either, can you message me with your phone number and I'll call you later? If you are pre-65, you probably got a NYC EPPO card that might say NYC EPPO Prime on it, but that doesn't mean you're Prime. If you are DC-37, then you're getting your medications through DC-37. If you're NYC EPPO, their drug PBM is Prime. So it might all be on the same card. I've not seen a new card because I am not pre-Medicare. So I'm not on that plan. But that's the only thing, without knowing your story, that's the only assumption I could make. Please message me either an email at retirees@nycretirees.org. You're on YouTube right now. You're not on Facebook. So I'm going to tell you to email us. Our email is retirees@nycretirees.org. I'm putting the email in the chat. Yeah, John, I thought you were EMS because you're the same plan as me. The only thing that would be different is if you're pre-Medicare or Medicare. And if you're pre-Medicare, it's probably on your card. Can you please check and see if it says NYC EPPO Prime? That would tell me you're pre-Medicare and you're on that plan. That may not necessarily mean it's a Prime drug card. You're used to getting a card for drug, a card for a hospital, a card for medical. This new pre-65 plan puts everything on one card. They were marketing this like a Medicare, like the Medicare style, Medicare Advantage style, where you only need one card. You know, you hear like Jimmy Walker and William Shatner say that shit on TV. They were trying to say it's easier. Well, whatever. But without the rest of your details, I can't answer that question. Is CVS still a pharmacy for senior care, Medicare Part D? Yes, I believe so, Tina. You have to look at the website for Prime Therapeutics for their list of in-network pharmacies. Emblem EOB already says there's no cheap drug. It is the generic. Is UFT... If UFT Prime is Amazon, where are our meds coming from? China? Wherever your meds are manufactured, I can't tell you that. Prime said 25% cost to us, whatever tier the meds fall into. But they're supposed to give you a number. That was the purpose. We've been talking to them about this like for weeks. Abbas Gaba on Instagram, on GHI Senior Care Medicare Retiree, we just received new cards. So you received new cards. Does someone in your household on your plan pre-65? If you have a younger dependent, you may have received new cards. So Rita is saying Tina, CVS is in the Prime network. Great. You don't. I am. And so pre-Medicare, we just received new cards. What's my husband and I are retirees for 20 years. So, and you have no younger dependents. Is the account number the same on the old card and the new card? No. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, yes. Okay, so then you just got new cards, and the only thing different on the card is it's just new, and the card numbers are the same. Correct? 2 people in your household, both on Medicare. You got new senior care cards. The numbers are the same. And I'm going to tell you that Emblem has had some glitches for some reason, that they gave about 2,000 people new cards for no reason. And in some, the information on them was incorrect. Both of us, yes. Okay. As long as the numbers are the same, the plan numbers are the same. It's not off by a digit or something for each one of you. Check both yours and your husband's card. As long as both of them are the same as the numbers you've had before, and there's nothing else different on that card, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're still concerned, you can always call Emblem on Monday morning. Let's see. Can I please ask everyone with a question to start that question with your union name and if you are Medicare or pre-Medicare? That would be great, Katie, because it would help me know I haven't gotten anything. So, George, if you are Medicare, there's nothing for you to get. You might get a drug card in the mail if you get your drug plan from the city, but the cards haven't been mailed out for a lot of people. If you look at the plan, then if you look at the plan, just be patient. We did check only numbers on back. So the numbers on the back of the card changed? Like the contact info? So it's supposed to be switching to Prime. Why are they saying mail? Order is still from Express Scripts. Hold on, let me scroll back up. What union are you both? Abiscaba, what union is he from? I'm going to go back to the Facebook site, UFT. So you're getting the new card because they're giving you the new drug phone numbers. Yeah, because the pharmacy benefit manager changed. So you're fine. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, because your new pharmaceutical company's changing. So that's the only thing that changed for you. Okay, so you're still good. My secondary is Anthem Medicare plan. My prescription coverage is through the DEA. They sent a notice that they are on a Medicare Part D creditable coverage. However, they say they do not cover most vaccines, and they say they do not honor the $2,000 cap. I don't understand why they wouldn't understand the cap if they are creditable coverage. So, Gwen, my argument to that is it is not a creditable plan. I was not aware of the DEA on that. I will look into that. And I don't understand why you're on an Anthem Medicare plan. You're literally paying premium for absolutely no reason. You should be on a senior care plan. I could swear I've had this conversation with you before, but let's see. Amiscava. So what does it say that we could still get mail order through Express Scripts or Amazon? Because we're being told by the insurance company, if you are Medicare eligible, you have 2 choices: Express Scripts or Prime Amazon. Only if you're on Medicare. MC42361. When your doctor writes a script, how do you know what pharmacy is the cheapest for the drug? So what you're supposed to do is look up on the drug plan's website where you could get it, where you can get the medication from, and look at which pharmacies would offer, or call your pharmacies saying, this is what my drug is, what's the price, what is the cost there for me? That would probably be the easiest way to do it. That's why we like the plan through the the ability of what of what the Medicare marketplace offers, because you can literally put in your zip code and all your medications, and you can determine what your pricing is, your premium, as well as what your drug cost is on an annual basis. So that's the frustrating thing, that the city doesn't provide you with that same ability to look up your pricing. And knowing that, like, for the UFT people or people who are managerial who don't have a union drug plan, or whose union doesn't have a plan, that you're being asked to pay $180 a month for a plan with an expanded formulary, but they're not telling you what your drug cost is. If you go to Medicare.gov, and this was over on Sunday, you have to put in just your zip code and your medications, your dosages, and your frequency in, and it'll tell you the pharmacies in your zip code range and the pricing for the premium and the drug cost. And I tell you, we're going to keep fighting till OLR does that, or gets the hell out of offering the insurance business, because they absolutely suck at this. I have a small loose leaf for all my passwords. Yeah, Ellen, I can't do that anymore. I've got way too many things to remember, and all of my passwords are like 20 digits long, so I would never be able to do that. And it would take me forever to fill them in. Katie, UFT pre-Medicare. Oh, thank you, Katie. What oversight is in place for unions by New York City? None. There is no oversight. The Office of Collective Bargaining, labor people Office of Collective Bargaining actually kind of used to do that. No more. It's literally the labor chair seats. There's Alan Klinger and Harry Greenberg, the two union lawyers for the MLC. To me, OCB is dead. Absolutely dead. UFT sucks big time. I hear you, Anne. God, I don't think even God is doing that. He thinks God is the oversight to the unions. I'd have to wait way too long to see that. My Pharma Walgreens increased drug prices 500%. I switched to mail order, cheaper. Many local pharmacies take our plan, don't need to use CVS or the like. Yeah, so you could always use a small mom and pop and check your medication, your drug pricing there. You'll probably do okay there. UFT retiree, you do not get the physical script except in a rare time. The doctor sends the script to the pharmacy to use. Right. So they'll send the doctor will send the prescription to your pharmacy electronically, but they'll also do the prior authorization for you. But you can, when you want to call around, what you want to do is find out what your drug is. Like, you'll know the name of the drug if you're taking a generic, the dosage, and the frequency. And you'll be able to price it, call the pharmacy, give them those three pieces of information, and they'll give you the drug price. And you can tell them you have the insurance. They'll run your insurance. Even if you walked in, let's say on an off hour, you're retired, right? Go visit them in the middle of the day or early in the morning. Go up to the pharmacy counter and ask them, hey, what would this cost me? And they'll tell you. Why are people who are on Medicare paying copays? Because the Municipal Labor Committee leadership negotiated the copays with Office of Labor Relations to come up with a cash funding mechanism to pay for their contracts. They literally passed that cost on to retirees on our backs. They funded their raises. I kid you not, that's exactly how it was done. And this is why in the Municipal Labor Committee, it's like the executive board and a couple of the unions get together, and it's typically DC 37 and the UFT that are coming up. The city encourages them to leverage the other unions to assess costs to save money. And by saving money, it's cost transfer to you. Copays, deductibles, more prior authorizations. That's how they come up with savings. We've put out sheets of these where they've done this years from between like 2014 to 2018, where they showed when they increased the copay for ambulance, when they increased the copay for hospitalization, how much money it yielded them towards bargaining. When you hear Michael Mulgrew say, we saved $3.4 billion in the health savings fund in the deal we made in 2014, how do you think they did it? You paid copays. You paid more every time you went to the ER, every time you went to an urgent care, every time you went to the doctor. You paid it. That's how he did the $3.4 billion deal in 2014. Okay, let's see. Abbas Scabbas. So who does my doctor send the prescription to if I want it mail order? So, Abbas Scabba, you give the doctor the name of your pharmacy card. Who's your pharmacy? Your pharmacy is Prime Therapeutics. And you tell him you want it mail order. So he will process that prescription as long as it's not a narcotic, probably. That way they have to give you a paper. But this way he would transmit it to you. Because like when I go to my doctor and he has to give Express Scripts my World Trade Center medications, I just tell him Express Scripts and it goes electronically through and then my drugs get mailed to me. So the same thing is how it will work here, the same way it's worked before. You just have to give them the new card, the doctor the card, so he could see it's Prime Therapeutics is your new pharmacy. I understand I won't need a prescription locally. My doctor can send it to the pharmacy, but if I want it, yes, that's exactly where you're sending it to. Just tell the doctor it's Prime Therapeutics and you want it to go to Express Scripts or Prime, okay? Or Amazon. That's what you're going to tell them. Okay. You need to set up an account when you get your card. If you did get your card, try to log in. A lot of people are telling us it's not available yet. You have to wait till after the 1st. But as that happens, you will be able to put some of this information in. That way they know what your local pharmacy preference is. And hopefully their customer service will show these questions for you. Hopefully we can get you, get more information for you like on another Friday call. I appreciate you checking into the DA. I agree. And next year, you really need to explain why you're still on this Anthem Medicare coverage because there's really no reason for you to be on it. You're paying premium. Ronnie, if your doc writes 3 months supply, the local pharmacy will give it to you. And also check if your local pharmacy gives it to you the 3 months, if you're paying 3 copays or you're paying 2 copays. That's what you should also ask because sometimes mail order gets a better price, which is why you get the 3-month supply. Disgusting leadership. Yeah, absolutely. Very frustrating for those of us on Medicare eligible and without a drug plan who are trying to get totally new drugs prescribed. I hear you. Totally do. Abbas Scabba, do we know if Express Scripts is cheaper than Amazon? I can't tell you because they haven't given us prices. Express Scripts you will have to call, but it's probably what you're already dealing with. Amazon has not provided, Prime has not provided any drug pricing for 2026. Thanks. I will follow with my local pharmacy. Ellen, let's see. Whoops. UFT here on Medicare and senior care. My new pharmacy card says Emblem Health, same numbers as my old card. The difference is on the back where to send the Part D claims to. Okay, so that tells me right there that you are UFT retiree on Medicare and you got a new card that says Emblem, says Emblem Senior Care. Your number is the same as your old card, and the difference on the back is where to send your Part D drug claims. Yes, because the only thing that changed for you is your drug vendor. That's it. Oh, you just explained? That means I missed it. Although I pay premium for Anthem, I have no copays. If I add up all my appointments, including fees, I would be paying more in copays on senior care than my premiums. Really? Okay. I'll accept that answer. Thanks for sharing that. Ellen and Randy, I love it. Union and Medicare pre-Medicare, we can all help. Absolutely. And, and so this is an interesting thing that people that don't know Katie, she popped on to help me tonight, which I absolutely love seeing her. Katie is an active teacher. And Katie is also, I believe, part of ABC, right? So this is about like working with people. I didn't ask her to do this. She just jumped on and pitched in. Why is that important? Because we help each other. That's what we're supposed to be doing, not working against each other. She wants to learn things. She wants to be able to help her active teachers who are retiring. But this is knowledge, right? Like this is what we're supposed to be doing, helping each other. Yeah, yes, like helping each other, because she is a retiree in training, truly in training, that she's here helping us. Only way to do it, Katie. I love you. Thank you. Thanks for that copay. You're welcome. Not supporting 1096 or subsequent bill is consenting to us having municipal retirees get used as city and MLC cash cows. I know. You can call Emblem Health and ask to be connected to the pharmacy. They will give you the cost of the drugs. Yes, that was what they were supposed to be doing starting last Monday. If they did that today, that means it's starting to work. It's just a matter of getting them all different, probably trained. I luckily don't have daily meds. I'm over 65, retired, over 65 UFT Medicare. Should I be looking for another drug? It's too late, Joanna. Medicare open enrollment closed December 7th. So you're kind of stuck in this plan right now until next year. So that closed December 7th. UFT, Medicare retiree, my new drug card has a different number. Yes, because your drug company changed to Prime Therapeutics. It's no longer being handled by Express Scripts. Express Scripts was the manager. Now the new manager is Prime Therapeutics. For 65 and over, Medicare retiree, you will still be able to use Express Scripts, but they're not the manager. They're not the middleman, the guy that buys the drugs and makes the deals and then sells them to all of you guys. MC42361 on Instagram. My new card front bin number is different. So I wish you guys, your comments were in my other chat. So I do not know MC4236, since there's a million comments ahead of you. If your new card, if you are Medicare retiree, or you are pre-Medicare, and what your union is, so, and what health plan you're on. But if your drug card is changing, then you're on one of the Emblem plans. So whether you are on Medicare retiree or pre-Medicare retiree, or even an active worker. But if your plan number has changed, you're probably pre-Medicare, I'm assuming. But give me full information the way Katie taught everybody to do on my other screen, and maybe that will help. Let's see. And I'm going to want to wrap this up because it's already 8 o'clock. You must take a closer look at the New York City Council. Of course, we need a course in the New York City Council. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there. Rita loves this, streamlines all the questions from Marianne. Thank you all. I love you guys. We are truly a village. But the problem here is that we did not get any info about Amazon or Express Scripts when we received the cards and the letters from Prime. So if you already got your package and it didn't say anything, I really can't tell you why. But if you literally call Prime and you tell them, hey, I am Medicare retiree, they should be telling you you have 2 choices of mail order. Put that on your homework to call, because I don't know if they're open now. Are they even open now? If they are open now, someone dial that number and find out. Ask that question. Someone, if Prime is open now, call Prime and ask them, I am Medicare retiree. Can you tell me can you confirm that I have 2 mail orders? I can use Amazon or I can use Express Scripts. If they're not, then you got to hold out till Monday. Let's see. You're welcome, Robert. Can people also check pricing and cost plus? Is there a penalty for that? So I don't really know how that works. To my understanding, if you're Medicare, you can't use cost plus, but they're not gonna want to use. You can't use your insurance if you're using cost plus. And I don't know if a Medicare person can use that if you're on Medicare. So you're gonna just have to ask the pharmacy, hey, can you try to do this without running it through my insurance and see what they say? They may say no. I just don't know what they'll say because I've never used cost plus. So I can still use Express Scripts website to order. I can't guarantee that, Ronnie. I think you're may need to go through Prime, but wait to get yourself registered for Prime. They have not explained to us that procedure for ordering your meds. Folks who have interacted with me over the past 4.5 years on our Facebook page have been very helpful and comforting. I think in terms of retiree mental health, we're doing something that's right. Yeah, Ellen, we help each other and take care of each other. I just wish some of the unions would do the same thing. We have a lot of unions that support us. Absolutely 100%. Unfortunately, there are still several that don't. There's no reason why the UFT should not have helped us last week when I asked. As a Medicare retiree, our letter said Express Scripts will automatically send our prescriptions to Prime because they are the new manager, Abiscaba. That doesn't mean that you still won't be able to get your Medicare, your medications from them. It just means that they are now the manager. Prime is the manager, but you should, as a Medicare retiree, be able to get your meds shipped by either Amazon or Express Scripts. Yes, Express Scripts is cheaper, says Long Beach. Well, I think that depends on the medication. I will never get over the union using or working with an anti-union outfit for union workers. And why don't you care? That is a common sentiment. We were just talking about that today. I was talking to Arthur Goldstein, and Arthur said, why wouldn't people use Prime? And I said, we were having this conversation about the pros and cons. And I said, I'll tell you why people won't use Prime is because they hate Jeff Bezos more than they hate Express Scripts. And so for the mere purpose of not giving money to Amazon, they will, if they had to, would potentially pay a little bit more to go to Express Scripts to not use Amazon Prime. Yes. And to know that even though there is a union and they don't negotiate with that union and they put those people through living hell, I was shocked to see that was even permitted. I'm with you there. Yes, thank you. You have a great night too. I will have fun at Happy Hanukkah to you too. Everyone is very helpful. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, Kathy. OSA. So I did tell you the other day, last Friday, I think I called OSA, and I think it was David I spoke to, who said the next welfare fund meeting, they would bring up reimbursement for OSA retirees who were using a drug plan on the marketplace as to not purchase the drug plan from the city. If you are an OSA retiree, make sure you hold that union accountable to do that. I got a letter from Emblem that I'm off of their Part D. I also got confirmation from the new Part D with WellCare, only $42 a month, plus the cost of meds, which will total $1,600 a year. This is still cheaper than the city plan. Yep, absolutely. This is why we said it's cost-benefit analysis. You have to look at what you're paying and what you're getting. Totally agree. Express Scripts mobile app has allowed members to check prices solving long. That's great. Thank you, Matthew. You have a great weekend too, Detta. I appreciate you all for educating me and helping me. You're welcome, and thank you for joining the circus. I hear you. Thank you, Marion, for everything you do. Where would we be without you? Probably in the poorhouse. So I would be in the poorhouse too. Rats, never had this before. $15 copay and $190 facility fee. Lisa, could you please send that to me in an email with a copy of the bill, please? Like today, if you can, like snapshot a photo of it, retirees at nycretirees.org. I need to see that. Katie, thanks for whipping us in shape for all your great information. She got it all organized, I'll tell you that. There is one unionized outfit of Amazon, and that's in New York. That's it. Yeah, that's out of JFK. Thanks so much for all your help. Take the time and relax over the weekend. The Prime number I just tried is not working until January 1. There you go, Ronnie, I guess. I guess there you go. You can't get information. Seriously? Oh my God. Hold on. The Prime number is not working. And what number are you guys calling? What number are you guys calling when they're telling you? And maybe you're calling Express Scripts or... Oh God, I have no idea. Let's see if this works. I'm not going to get an answer tonight. Prime number not working on card. Oh my God. Okay, we'll figure that one out. I'll stick with Express Scripts. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Camille. I will enjoy the parade. I'll take pictures or live stream when my bus is decorated, and I'll show you what it looks like. UFT Medicare. So should I call UFT Welfare Fund on Monday? Sure. Make them do their job. Absolutely. And if you have a problem and they're not answering you or they leave you on hold for 3 hours, call me back. Email us back. Yes. See, even Katie says yes. I can give you emails besides Jeff Sorkin that are helpful. Thank you, Katie. Have a great one. I too love the educate. You're welcome. 2 hours and 10 minutes record. No, I think actually, was it 2 hours? What did we do with, what was the longest one we ever did? I think the longest call we ever did was maybe, I don't know. It was with probably Senator Jessica Ramos. I don't know. Yes, Express Scripts seems to have finally gotten their shit together, and I agree with not to give Bezos non-union business. There you go. Do I have to register an account? I suggest you always create an account. You have to know what's going through your accounts, people. Otherwise, you don't know if your insurance is being charged for stuff that you didn't order or wasn't ordered for you. Hospitals can charge more for service. No, Judy, I still need to see the bill. You're welcome. You guys have a great weekend too. The help desk is not up until January 1. It's freaking crazy. Thank you for tonight's wealth of information. I can't believe all these years we have to suffer through this. I hear you, because they don't respect you enough as a retired civil servant to actually provide you with an answer. I was told by a member of the pharmacy office in Emblem who said that Medicare patients will get Express Script delivery for 2026, and then Amazon Prime will be doing the deliveries. Right now, you have a choice of both, Diane. Shut up, man, because he was a firefighter from... I have no idea what the heck that is. That's probably it. I have no idea who that crazy person is. Okay, let's see. Long Zoom with ABC, I believe. Oh, yeah, we've done a few of those. We absolutely did. All right, everybody. I am signing off. To anyone who's still on Instagram, there's 6 people there. You guys have a great weekend. Hope that helped. And then for everybody else here on this side, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X people, have a great weekend. I will make sure I send you photos tomorrow of our Christmas evening parade, and then I will be relaxing on Sunday. Abascaba, how do you register an account with Prime? From what everyone's telling me on the other screen, you're going to have to wait until after January 1 because it's not working. Because they literally tried while we were here on the other screen to do that. Unfortunately, they did not. Make it work for some reason. But wait till January 1. All right, everybody. I love you. Have a great weekend. And thank you for people who helped us in donations from our Giving Tuesday campaign. And keep those donations coming in. We truly do appreciate everything. And hopefully next week we might have another little announcement for you, but just a more informational type stuff. So have a great weekend. I love you guys. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make.